Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United transfer news on what has been a very eventful day, and welcome to it because there's still loads left in it. We've got a watch along at 2:30 in the morning, so a big day for Manchester United. Sesko effectively choosing Manchester United and Manchester United choosing him. Also a huge story around Donnarumma. What's that all about? And could it involve a swap deal for Sesko and Rasmus? What are your thoughts on it now? It's the 8 o'clock show. This is where you drive the show. Are you happy with Sesko? Some of you are saying, you know, they prefer Watkins. I think it's really interesting. Got a story on Garnacho as well. Yeah, let's hit it. Oh my God! Jesus Christ! Oh, I don't want to think about what I nearly did then. Oh my God! I haven't got any socks on and I need to cut my nails, and the back of my heel went right on the end of the big toenail and I thought it was going to lift it up. Just think about that for a moment. Oh God, you know when you nearly, I can feel the pain of it even though I haven't done it. Keep your feet still. Right, how do I feel about things? Well, look, how I feel about things is, well, let's grab where we are. Let's talk about where we are, because apologies for my live earlier. Some people reminded them of my old walks to work. I've got no idea why my phone suddenly did it like it was on a Nintendo DS, like somebody said, or a Nokia 3210. But we got there, and we reacted to David Ornstein basically dropping the same story he did about Mbeumo, that Man United have chosen to go for Sesko. This is the striker they're going to go for if they go for a striker, which for me shows that Sesko wants us. I think that since then, just to catch you up on the news, Fabrizio has said that Sesko will take some days to meet with his family, his agent and people close to him before making the best decision possible for his future. That concerns me a little bit. We'll come back to that in a moment. But he also says that Manchester United are offering Leipzig the chance to include a player in the deal for Sesko. Leipzig consider Rasmus a dream target. So let's just digest that for a moment, because I feel that I don't get why Sesko is taking time to speak to family and friends. This is our player. We've publicly gone through Ornstein that we want Sesko. I wouldn't imagine we would do that unless we're playing a game or unless we've been told by him that he wants us. So I don't necessarily buy into the whole he's taking his time to speak to friends and family about what he wants to do next, because I don't think Man United would be so naive as to publicly put it out there from Ornstein. Having said that, we did prioritise Delap publicly through Ornstein as well. So maybe we could be doing that again. My feeling is that we will get the deal done. I really liked the update from Simon Stone as well, saying that Manchester United do not, sources close to Manchester United say they do not have to sell players in order to make more signings. I think that's a significant step forward for us as well, because there has been that feeling that we can't afford Sesko or we can't afford Watkins without selling players. And if you've seen Garnacho's latest story, all he's doing is sat playing FIFA buying clothes. So there isn't really any, you know, Anthony wants to go to Betis, Sancho, God knows what he's up to. So it's not like we're going to get money in anytime soon. So it's always a good update, especially from somebody like Simon Stone, who's credible, to say that we don't need to sell to buy, because I think that's going to be really important to get a deal like Sesko over the line. But my thoughts are this. I don't think there was a bad option here. I think there was a conversation to have about whether we've made the right choice. We won't know that till the end of next season. But I don't think there's a wrong choice. I don't think there's a wrong choice. I think there's a right choice, and we'll find out. But I don't think there's a wrong choice. I think there's opinion. Of course there is. I think that people might want Watkins because he's Premier League proven, he's experienced, and he'll hit the ground running. People might want Sesko because he's got a higher ceiling. He's got higher potential. He'll be here for longer, etc., etc. So I don't think there's a wrong or right decision. But I think that I've just nailed it, says Vil. Yeah, thanks for that. Just brought me back to there. But I think that the clue was probably in what we've heard. Like, we've heard that we don't want to buy players over 26, and we never have under INEOS. Watkins is 29. Sesko is 22. So I think that was a very big hint for us anyway. I do wonder if we will ever buy a player over 26 who's not a goalkeeper, to be honest with you. So I think that hint was there. And look, he's a very exciting player. I've heard people calling him the next Rasmus. I've heard people calling him the next Van Persie. I've heard people calling him, all sorts, positive and negative. And that's what happens when you make a signing for Manchester United. I don't think I'm, surprised by any of that. And look, I think that the question for me is how quickly can we do this deal now? Because I don't like the idea that Sesko's got to think about it. I don't think he has got to think about it. And I don't know how long it's going to take to negotiate with Leipzig. I saw somebody online saying Man United are pulling a madness. We're not pulling a madness, are we? We're not pulling a madness. I think that we don't have a striker and we don't have a goalkeeper and we're playing Arsenal 2 weeks on Sunday. That's not a madness. That's unpreparedness. So we'll talk about Donnarumma in a minute. I'm not convinced that's a story that's got any validity in it. I just think it might just be a bit of positivity to keep us thinking that things are going well. We have been in this position before this summer where we've thought really good things are going to happen and they haven't. If Sesko doesn't happen for weeks and we drop points in the first few weeks of the season and then he starts badly because he didn't have a pre-season, then he's fighting a losing battle from the start. And honestly, we have seen this happen to a lot of signings. So I want it to happen quick. That's what I want to see. I want to see it happen quick because he will be under more pressure. I mean, there's pressure. Ekitike will be under pressure. Gyökeres will be under pressure. Isak will be under pressure when he goes to Liverpool. But I don't think anyone's going to feel the pressure of Benjamin Sesko because we're Manchester United. Liverpool are better than us. Arsenal are better than us. Man City and Chelsea are better than us. But why were we the most watched team in the Premier League last season? Because we're box office. Whether we're crap or good, we're box office. Whether we're crap or good, they won't stop writing about us. Whether we're crap or good, everyone will focus on what we're doing. Mbeumo, Cunha, Sesko. Some people will be praying for their downfall and they'll analyse unfairly every single minute. And some of those will be fans of our own bloody club, let alone, the journalists and the press. So he is going to be under immense pressure, probably more pressure than Ollie Watkins would be, because Ollie Watkins could say, hey guys, look at my passport. And he's also got Premier League experience. So it's a big move for Sesko, and Newcastle would be way, way more low profile, even though they're better than us in the and they're in the Champions League. So that's all going to come with this. And all I would say is what I've said many a time when you bring a player in from abroad, there has to be patience. There has to be patience. He's a young lad. He's only just turned 22 in May. The price tag is not dictated to by him. You have to have patience. Now, is he going to get patience? That's my only concern. And I'm allowed to have that concern. And you're allowed to have that concern. He's a very exciting signing as and when we get it over the line. But he will be under pressure. And he will need patience. And I think people like Bruno Fernandes, Bryan Mbeumo, Ahmad, Cunha are going to have a big, big job trying to get him scoring goals. Because if he scores goals, everything is in his favour. I've just been sent a link here saying that Alexander Isak's hopes of forcing a move to Liverpool may have taken a hit, with Newcastle fearing they've lost out on top target Sesko. Newcastle remain in the race, but with Manchester United also pursuing the Slovenian, there is a feeling internally that their chances of landing him have faded. Well, nothing new there then, is there? But yeah, look, my thoughts are I'm happy. I'm happy with us going for Sesko. I don't know how I would have been if it had been Watkins. I think I would have been happy as well. But this more, I think, as I said, you get your thoughts in. There are pros and cons to Watkins and there are pros and cons to Sesko. But for me, it always comes down to what the manager wants, really. Hi, Mark. You've said we need an experienced striker to demand passes from selfish players. Do you think Sesko, being young, has the presence to do that compared to someone like Watkins? I prefer Sesko, though. It's a great point, Benzi. I mean, I and many of you have said we need an experienced striker. It's a great point. Yeah, but look, the selfishness behind the Rasmus over the last couple of years is gone. Anthony, Garnacho, Rashford are replaced by Mbeumo and Cunha, who have very good assist statistics for Wolves and Brentford. So hopefully that problem won't be there anymore. Ross says it's a big mistake. Rasmus part 2, Watkins all the way. Shady says we need more than one striker though. Do we get 2? Well, I mean, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? Romano is saying that we're offering up players to Leipzig. That could be Garnacho. That could be Rasmus. That could be whoever. Apparently Leipzig would really like Rasmus. I think it would not be a bad move for him if he took that move. I don't know whether he will or he won't. Ultimately, he's going to want to play first team football. And it's going to be very difficult after 2 years at Manchester United to be the number one when we're about to spend £70 million on Sesko. So does he want to be second fiddle to Sesko when they're the same age? There was a theory that if you brought Watkins in at 29, you might want to hang around and learn from Watkins and maybe push him out in the next 18 months. The chances of Rasmus pushing Sesko out are slim. So I think that, to be fair, the Leipzig move probably, unless he's got a better one, probably makes sense. But then you have the same problem again. Sesko comes in and the backup striker is a 17-year-old in Xerxes. So I agree. I think we always needed a striker when we had Rasmus, whether you thought he was good or not. If Rasmus goes and Sesko comes in, we still potentially have that same problem. Could we swap Garnacho for Martinez with Villa? Says Andrew. I don't know. We'll talk about Garnacho in a moment. I like that Sesko has more value, but you know INEOS will ruin his value like Garnacho, so Watkins would just be as good for the short term, says Kana Dave. I feel like there are a few people here. I'm just going to run a poll again, either or. It's been changing over the last few days. Sesko or Watkins. It feels like there are a few people in the chat that now that it looks like we're going for Sesko would have preferred Watkins. So let me know. Either or. Emily Derry says, this is one of the rare occasions where I would have been pleased with either option, but have positives to bring in. Just needs to move it forward now, says Emily Derry. If Rasmus goes, do we get Watkins as well? No, absolutely not, Mafia. Bloody hell, we're not Real Madrid. What would you like to see out of the match tonight, says Outdoor Adventures. I mean, I haven't done a preview because it's been so busy. I was intending to do a preview and put it up at 5, but it got so busy. What am I looking forward to tonight from the game? I think Bournemouth are the best footballing side we're going to play. I'll do a quick 30-second preview and then we'll get back into the news. I think Bournemouth are going to be the best team we're going to play on the tour. They play the best football. They are quite decimated. They've lost a few players. And I don't think they've got the squad that we've got. So I expect a win. I want us to create goals. I want us to score goals. I think both our goals against West Ham were mistakes. So I want to see us creating more opportunities and adapting to this system a bit better, I suppose. If we didn't need to sell, thanks to Outdoor Adventures for that. If we didn't need to sell to buy, why haven't we signed more players, says Shady. Good point. Shout out to my dog Percy, who has diarrhea. Loving the show, says Alex. Lovely stuff. PSA, the game can be watched on Peacock, says Abdul. Not to conduct a positive PR train, but this Sesko signing could indicate a turning point in our recruitment team, going for players we otherwise scout plus pass on, like Haaland was, says Connor. Marcus just says that Romano tweeted just now about Donnarumma. Rumours, no bid. What is your take on another midfielder instead of a centre forward, says Marcus. Well, we don't need another forward if we get Sesko, because we won't get another forward. So then I would be looking at goalkeeper, then midfielder, yeah. Tanush says, first time super chatting in your channel. Why do you think Sesko is joining Manchester United? I think Manchester United has a bigger pull than Newcastle. Why did Mbeumo choose us over Arsenal? Why did Cunha want Manchester United? I still think we have that pull. We can't rely on it forever. When you think about it, 10 years ago, Man United still had the likes of Wayne Rooney. Sesko would have been 12. So United would still have an aura for these players growing up. In 10 years' time, if we don't get back on track, we're going to lose this pull. After Sesko, how many more signings for top 4, says Shady? No, impossible. Impossible, impossible, impossible. It's impossible, mate. We're not getting top 4. Forget it. 5th place, yes. Top 4, no. Watch along later, yes. Evening, Mark. Would you say it's likely that Sesko will play against Arsenal? Unlikely. Daily Hibbert, unlikely. We're in for 5th now, says Matt. No, we're not in for bloody 5th. This is what I don't... you can say what you like. Respect. We're not in for 5th place just because we've got Sesko. Where's the goalkeeper? Where's the midfielder? We're not in for 5th just because we've got Sesko, if we get Sesko. Do you think Sesko will suit Amrim's system? Says Parker. We'll have to wait and see. You should change your lipstick. I think more a red colour will make your lips pop. Pollitt, lipstick up for Mark. Lost in a field bridge, says Cyber Spider. And can I just say, Jake Kyle, I don't know whether he actually did gift 20 memberships because they haven't actually registered. So I don't know whether those memberships actually... No, they're not there, so we won't give you a shout out. He's obviously done it and then retracted it. So we won't give Jake a shout out for that. I think he's a bit of a scammer, actually, because it doesn't say there's any new members there. So you won't be getting a shout out for that. We are getting Arsenal's first choice. I'm really happy with that. We aren't getting an old striker on loan on the last day. Front three will be fire, says Sean Turner. I'll tell you what is fire tonight. We've not done it on an 8 o'clock show this summer. We're nearly at 30,000 concurrent viewers. So share the video, 27,500, and make sure you subscribe. Loads of people tuning in tonight. Don't forget we have got a watch along at 2:30 in the morning. I will tell you my plan for that. I've been thinking about it all week and I've got a strategy, a sleep strategy. Love the channel. Will Mbeumo play tonight, says Gutter. No, and Beth has just messaged me saying that there is a lot of rain in the in Chicago at the moment. So I don't know whether that means anything. The last thing we want are delays when we're all got to get up at 2:30. If Watkins and Sesko both flop, who would we benefit more from in the future is the question we should be asking, says Frank. Yeah, Sesko. Mbeumo tonight, says Jack. Apparently not. Hopefully United and Leipzig come to a swap plus cash deal for Sesko, get him cheaper than expected and allow funds to be saved to spent on a goalkeeper, says guest Ghost92. Brody says, surely Mbeumo starts tonight. What's your 11? I don't know why people are asking about Mbeumo starting tonight when Amorim said after the West Ham game he's not ready. So, I mean, look, we might get a shock, but don't be there in the chat going, where's Mbeumo? Where's Mbeumo? He did say he won't play tonight. So it'll be a nice surprise if it happens, but it won't. It probably won't. Paul Reagan, thank you very much. A few people talking about Belieber. I don't like the Belieber links because it's basically just Rio. Like, he ain't the director of football and he ain't got 100 million quid. So, I'd rather, you know, it's like Elliot Hackney. He's going to fucking Ipswich. People just throw names around that we're not actually in for. So Jim Radcliffe says, Shampers, end of the day. He says, I don't like you and you need to stop spreading rumours about me, but could you refund this and my last super chat? I'm a bit frugal. This reminds me of Morata versus Lukaku, says Fun. No. I get it. There's a similarity that we had a choice between two strikers, but I would say that, yeah, very, very different. Hayden Hackney, not Elliot Hackney. Elliot Hackney used to be on the kickoff. We used to be friends with True Geordie. I don't know why I always get mixed up. Going to the stadium in 3 hours. First time seeing Man United in person, and I'm very happy, says Pedro. Enjoy it. How can we let Rasmus go? They can be good, says JB. And I don't feel that concrete this is in the bag, and we still yet might be eating humble pie. What makes you so sure, says Peter. Fair point, Peter. I just think that I think when David Ornstein says that Man United are going for Sesko and it's the only striker we're going for, and numerous people say that Sesko has chosen Manchester United, I feel it's in the bag. I don't know when it will happen, but I'd be absolutely stunned if he went to Newcastle now. We'd look bloody stupid for a start. So, no, I think it is in the bag. Is Sesko another gamble? If they gamble, I hope they give Amorim time. All I know is the highlights videos on YouTube and he seems in beast mode, says Le Familiar. If Rasmus goes to Leipzig, does that mean Amorim favours Xerxes as a second striker, says Andre? No, I think it means that Rasmus doesn't want to be a second striker and wants to play first-team football, and Leipzig want him. I don't think Xerxes pushed for a move at all. I think Xerxes happy to stay. So, you know, as we've said about Xerxes, he's not even fit. So I think Xerxes is destined to be on the bench a lot this season, and he's a good player to have on the bench. Thank you very much. Okay, my 60-month membership free chat. I know you're usually very optimistic on transfers, but I'm a bit wary. We've made mistakes before, says Manchester Reds. Look, I can play devil's advocate. I'm quite excited about Sesko. But devil's advocate would be he's coming in from Germany. He's 22. He hasn't been that prolific in his career at Leipzig. Very, very talented, but still a work in progress. Very expensive, and will be under a lot of pressure at a club that hasn't really serviced strikers for 6 years. Positives, this was a player that Arteta wanted for 18 months. This is a player that Arsenal were looking at intently to be the striker to fire them to a title and maybe a Champions League. So he comes with pedigree. But there are no sure things in football anyway. Hi Mark, you told that football is about taking risks. I love both Watkins and Sesko, but when you look at Cunha and Mbeumo, that are their safe choices. Isn't Sesko a risk and Watkins a more safe choices, Fritz? I just joined. Did we bid for Donnarumma? I'm going to talk about that next. What an attack of Cunha, Bruno, and Mbeumo and Sesko defence. And if Mainoo Ugarte are class, how is it impossible for top four, says Patrick. Go and watch last season, mate. I ain't wasting time talking about top four. Bloody hell. I mean, this is what happens, isn't it? You know, you get linked to Sesko and suddenly you're going from 15th to 4th. And this is the great thing about football. This is the diversity of football. But you know what? I get to choose what I want to spend time talking about. We're not in the top four race. If you want to put us in there, great. I'm sure there's some low IQ content creator that will knock one out with you about that one. But come on. I actually say that from a place of positivity. I think it's a negative thing to start talking about top four for Manchester United because we might be signing Sesko. It's a pressure we don't need, and it's an expectation that's not realistic. Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City and Arsenal are way better than us, and they've had way better transfer windows. Sesko doesn't put us into the top four. Fifth place is up for grabs. And if we achieve that, it would be a fantastic season and would probably get us Champions League football. Top four, anyone predicting that or demanding that is crazy in my opinion. Dellen says, I don't like the ownership, but I've liked every single signing since last summer. Would have loved them in quicker, but can't fault the quality. Yeah. I mean, I was very happy with last summer's transfer acquisitions. I hated the timing. This summer again, I think key positions aren't going to be there for the start of the season. And it's very easy to analyse a transfer window when you've never played a game of football. But trust me, if we get turned over by Arsenal on the opening game of the season, it won't matter if we're in talks for Sesko because people will lose their shit. Transfers get forgotten very quickly when reality results bite you in the arse. INEOS haven't done a good job at Manchester United in the last 18 months. They've bought well, but they've not done a good job because they've not done it quick enough. That's going to be the concern. Every point matters for Man United, and how many are we going to drop because we weren't prepared? We're not going to be prepared. But that doesn't mean that Sesko's not a good signing and getting a goalkeeper isn't a good signing. We need to talk about Xerxes not being a striker, says Bisson. You just said Mbeumo chose us over Arsenal. Other London club revealed, says Bees. Yeah. Watch the media make it Sesko versus Gyökeres all season, says Shenanigans. Let the media do what they want. I mean, I think Gyökeres is ahead of Sesko, and I think that's why I agree with Arsenal going for him. That's why we have to be a bit patient. What is the sleep plan, says Gel? Well, it's We've got 300 people away from 30,000 watching, which is incredible. Our biggest 8 o'clock show of the year so far. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and get involved with the United Stand. We're live every morning at 10 a.m, every afternoon at 2 p.m, and 8 o'clock as well. And we have got a watch-along tonight on this channel. In fact, when this show ends, there is a live chat that's there if you're waiting up or whatever. My plan is, I've been up since 7 a.m. in the UK. So very quickly, I've been up since 7 a.m. If I stay up for the game really and match reaction won't finish till after 5 a.m. So that's nearly a 24-hour stint. That's not a good idea. So I'm going to finish this stream, run around the garden, tire myself out like a dog, get into bed for about 9:30, sleep for about 3.5 hours, get up at 1 a.m, onto here for about 1:15, hour before kickoff. Whether I can get to sleep or not, that's the big problem. But I feel if I get 3 hours now, and then watch the match, get another 3 hours, get up for the 10 o'clock show, that's 6 hours spread out, and then maybe get a couple of hours in the afternoon. 8 hours, done it. Maths. Would you loan Obi? Not a lot of games for 4 strikers, says Matthew. I think Obi probably stays now. Varron's gifted 10 memberships. You're a legend, mate. And if we had 70 million for Sesko, I think the real comparison is would we prefer Sesko or Watkins plus a goalkeeper and a midfielder? Well, that's an interesting point, Mike G. That is. So I would still take Calvert-Lewin, says Clayton, and I want the striker that will bleed for the badge, says Matt Richards. Can you say hello to my daughter Delilah, says Cufflin. Hello to your daughter there. Hope she's doing well. Right, Mojo's just gifted 50 memberships. It hasn't registered either, so maybe there is a problem with these memberships being gifted because that's not registered yet, but maybe it will in a moment. Let's talk about the goalkeeper. Very, very interesting story here from somebody that really isn't a bullshitter. So this came in from James Ducker in the Telegraph today, this afternoon. After an inquiry early in the summer, United are expected to renew their interest in Donnarumma. PSG are open to selling the key goalkeeper. So James Ducker in the Telegraph, who is not Fabrizio Romano, he is not David Ornstein. He is a Manchester United correspondent who writes good articles, but wouldn't be classed as a transfer guru. Basically saying that we've inquired for Donnarumma before and we're expected to do it again. Fabrizio's followed that up in the last few minutes by saying no talks ongoing between Donnarumma and Man United, nothing concrete ongoing. But it's a strange story. It's a very... We've hit 30,000, by the way. Oh, yeah, we have hit 30,000. Make sure you keep sharing. Thanks, everyone. It's a strange story. You know, I would not expect James Ducker to drop that type of a story. And I would also say that it's is it true? If Fabrizio hadn't said what he was saying, I would say, ooh, it's interesting. I still don't believe it, but it's interesting. But Donnarumma, for me, is arguably the best goalkeeper in the world. Why would he come to Manchester United? That's the question for me. Why would he come to Manchester United? And we can say, well, because it's Man United. Donnarumma's in the Raiola camp. I mean, I know Raiola's not around anymore, but I would imagine the principles of his agency still stand the same. Why would he come to Manchester United? We're not meant to be paying silly money for goalkeepers anymore, or wages. We're not in the Champions League. He's not a lifelong Man United fan. So I don't get it. You know, I don't get it. Now, if this was coming out from a French journalist, I'd say this is all about getting a new contract at PSG. I don't think he's necessarily getting a new contract at PSG, by the way. So my interpretation is, taking James Ducker at face value, if he's played his cards with PSG and they're not going to give him a new contract, he sort of has to go. And if he's going to go, where do you go? Real Madrid have got a goalkeeper. Barcelona have just bought a goalkeeper. Man City have just bought a goalkeeper. Arsenal and Liverpool won't want him, and neither will Bayern Munich. So where do you go? Chelsea or Manchester United? And Chelsea is probably the place he goes, isn't it? So that's my thought. Champers! Chelsea Champers! End of the day, Chelsea or Man United, it's a win. I've got a season ticket at both. Champers. So I would say, if Donnarumma is going to leave PSG, I would say he's going to go to Chelsea because Chelsea can offer more money, longer contracts, better prospects. But, I mean, I bloody love Donnarumma at Manchester United. I mean, I know Martinez created a little bit of a debate of whether you'd want Martinez. Donnarumma, for God's sake. I mean, yes, I would love him at Man United. But I have to say, you've got to pour water on that and just not believe it because I just can't see how it would happen. But I think we'll end up with Lemens at some point. I think that's where we will end up on that one. I can only hope and pray we sign Donnarumma, says Big Mandem. Stevie Wonder needs to go, in brackets, Anana. Hi, Mark. I'd be happy with Watkins, but the chance to stop Saka, Isak going to Liverpool would be an added bonus, says George Best Belfast. I don't think we will stop Isak going to Liverpool. And as much as they're our biggest rival, I think you've got to live in the now. Newcastle with Sesko could nail down 5th place. Newcastle without Sesko and Isak leaving could fall apart. I mean, I was talking about this on That's Football today. Apparently, Isak has told Newcastle way before the summer that he wanted to go, and Newcastle have just kept it quiet. So if Isak wants to go, you just wonder how long Bruno Guimaraes or Anthony Gordon are going to hang around. And if Newcastle are struggling to attract players, they could fall apart this season. They've got Champions League as well. They haven't got a big squad. Seriously, I'm not going to give us 5th place. We need a goalkeeper. Hopefully we're going to get Sesko, but we need a goalkeeper. But all right, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal. They're miles away. But tell me who's going to finish 5th. Newcastle are looking shaky, and they've got a Champions League campaign. Villa have done nothing in the market at all. Spurs, new manager, not done much either. You're really going to put Brighton at 5th or Bournemouth at 5th? Look, I know we're coming from 15th, but 5th place is there. It is there. Now, look, it doesn't matter whether it's there or not. We're the masters of our own downfall, but it is still there. And I believe that 5th place will get Champions League as well, because I believe the English clubs are going to do very well in Europe. I mean, Emery in the Europa League, I fancy Villa winning it. Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City and Arsenal in the Champions League, I can see them all getting to the quarterfinals. So I think 5th place is there. I'm not giving it to us. I'm just saying it is there. If Newcastle had got João Pedro and Mbeumo and Sesko and Guehi, it probably wouldn't be there. And that was their plan. So, yeah, okay, if you get Sesko, you might slow Isak to Liverpool down. But more importantly, you stop Newcastle getting a striker that, I mean, they're going to lose Isak. He was the big reason they got top 4. Without Isak, or 5th, I think they came 5th, didn't they? But take Isak away from them, and what are they? So it's a big opportunity to cause a rival for 5th, a problem. We also didn't believe De Ligt, but here we are, says Bisson. I'd run about with my top off if we got Donnarumma. Champers, says Jack. Cheers to that. It's only Ribena, but... I'd run about with my top off, says Jack Woods. What a lovely thought. Christy Brown, my left foot would be... Sticky sausage, don't know what that's all about. Next up, they will sign a new goalkeeper after Sesko or a Cam, says Sean. I don't think we're going to sign a Cam. Hi, Mark. Stay out of your home till the end of the transfer window. I'm convinced we will sign at least 3 more. I mean, Ram, I have started to thinking about just taking walks. I mean, literally I was on a plane to New York when we got the Ornstein bomber about Mbeumo. I was out at the shops when we got Here We Go on Mbeumo. And I was out on a walk when we got the Ornstein one today. I think he's monitoring my movements. I think he's got an app, Ornstein, and he waits for me to go out. No point is scoring 50 goals, but league 60, says Barry. So Jim will get Sanchez in from Chelsea. Champers, says Reece Gregory. But you'd be surprised Donnarumma wants us like Seska. I mean, JB, I think, look, I was very surprised we got Yoro. I was quite surprised we got Mbeumo. I'm surprised we've gone in for Sesko. But Donnarumma would be... I mean, he's just won the bloody Champions League. Every time I watch him, I think he's the best goalkeeper in the world. So that would be amazing. Especially when we're not going to be offering 350k a week. So, glass of champers might do the sleeping job for you, says Jocelyn. Any news on Lemens, says Liam. Only what we had on the morning show. That we're still in talks. But I think one of the goalkeepers has got to go to bring a goalkeeper in. And Bayindir, I don't think Bayindir gets spoken about enough either. Why won't he piss off? I mean, I know that's very blunt, but why won't he piss off? Like, if he goes, we've got to buy a goalkeeper. Why won't Bayindir go? It's always about an honour, but we've made our mind up on Bayindir, haven't we? We sort of said give him a chance last season. He was given a chance, and we all saw that not bad at penalties, but not necessarily going to be the goalkeeper that we need. So what's he still doing here? Let's let Seb do the 10 a.m. show. Let you have a lie-in, says Christy. I can't have a bloody lie-in anyway. I've got a bloody kitchen being sorted. They'll be drilling from 8 o'clock. There's no lie-in. I'll be on the 10 a.m. show. I can only hope and pray we sign Donnarumma, says Big Man. Then we've done that one. We need Jamie Vardy, says Batty. No, we don't. We'll move on from that. United 0-3, Newcastle. Oh, I can see it already, says Connor. Buy Lemens this season and Costa next season, says Rasler. And Blake says, ruthless aggression for any 2 years plus players from the Europa League final. Sorry, I can't understand what you're talking about. Do you read before you type? Ruthless aggression for any 2 year plus player from that Europa League final. Don't know what that means. Does that mean get rid of any player that played in the Europa League final that's been here longer than 2 years? It's like a bloody missed crystal maze, this. I'm critical of INEOS, but I like that we can scupper a few clubs' plans with Sesko transfer. We hold a few more cards I can see also, says Blake. You should rename yourself to Yoda, like the way you put your sentences together. Maybe you need a more walk more often, Mark, says JB. And I love the Sesko deal. I'm extremely excited, but do you think he's capable of handling the pressure that comes with the shirt? What I would say about Sesko is that people don't realise is that he's only just turned 22. He was only 22 years old. He was only 22 years old in May. I will not bury another Batman. I will not bury another Batman. I'm Harry Bird. Don't worry, I'm not losing the plot. He was only 22 years of age in May. He's been around for bloody ages. So you talk about pressure. He was scoring goals for Salzburg, I think, in the Champions League at 19. So he has got Champions League experience and he has got experience of dealing with things at a young age. The Premier League and Man United will be a step up. But look, if you compare it to Rasmus, and I like Rasmus, and I think he has been thrown in at the deep end, but you can't compare Sesko to Rasmus because Rasmus, his breakthrough season was the season before we bought him at Atalanta. Sesko's had a longer period of time and he's played for 2 other clubs in the Champions League. So I think he's, I wouldn't call him, I don't think Sesko's a learner driver. What did I say last week? I don't think Sesko's a learner driver. I think he's got his P plates. And in the UK, when you pass your, if you're learning to drive, you drive around with L plates. When you've passed your test, it's optional, but a lot of people put a P plate on, so it lets everybody know that you've just passed. I'd say Sesko is a P plate striker. I think he's passed his test, but he's still got a lot to learn. But you know what? I can understand why Arsenal didn't go for Sesko because they're trying to win the Premier League. We're trying to get 5th. When people say, oh, the pressure, we're trying to get 5th fucking place. 5th place would be an embarrassment to us at one point. Should be an embarrassment. We're all talking about 5th. Oh, is he good enough to get us to 5th? Oh my God. I hope he doesn't flop under the pressure of getting us 5th. 5th. You know, this ain't the Premier League. This ain't the Champions League. It's 5th. To be honest with you, if he can't help us get 5th, then we've really fucked up, haven't we? And I've just had a brainwave here. What are we talking about? Yes, he could flop, but can he deal with the pressure of getting us to 5th? It's fucking 5th, you know? It's 5th. Like, I know it'd be great to get it, but we're not asking him to win the Ballon d'Or. We're not asking him to win the Golden Boot. We're asking him to score 10 to 15 Premier League goals and support Cunha and Mbeumo to do the same. And then if you chip in with a few goals from Bruno, Ahmad, the defence, you might get 60 goals, which will be a big improvement. I'm not asking him to score 20 goals in his first season. If he can score his 15 Premier League goals and Cunha and Mbeumo can do, another 20 to 30 between them, and then Bruno gets 10, and then, I think, it's about spreading the goals out across the team, really. Sesko will change the game at United with Cunha and Mbeumo. Can't wait for the season to kick off. Mark, thanks again. You've proper kick off my channel, says Dan Ventures Outdoors. Lovely. I still need to check Dan Ventures Outdoors. I know some of you have, but I need to check. What are you doing outdoors, Dan? I'm going to do that in the after show. While football has moved on since we last won the league, but our most successful phases have been with either 3 or 4 strikers in the team. Yeah, I think that I would love Rasmus to stay because I would like to have 2 proper strikers and Rasmus would be the sub, but I don't know whether he'll want to do that. I even stopped buying Donnarumma on FIFA. It felt so unrealistic. I'm also afraid we have 4 project strikers if we get Sesko and no experience, says Liam. Sesko, thank you very much. I really don't understand the Sesko hype. We don't need 3 young and inexperienced strikers, says Cameron. Glenn C has gifted a membership. Sesko for Højlund would leave as a striker short, says Bisson. Why didn't we go for Kepa, says Henry, because he's crap. In my opinion. Donnarumma is a pipeline, surely, says Danny. And Mark, did you ever see the movie My Left Foot? Christy Brown. Daniel Day-Lewis says Sticky Sausage. I get it now. There is a scene where he's in goal, saving the ball with his head. I'd rather him in goal than Onana. You've explained it well. Echo Life, welcome to the Members Club. And Rob Always United says, the only thing about Sesko is that he's got no one to learn from. Could hinder his development. Look, I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. I think a few people have sort of touched on it and we're dancing around the topic that I'm just going to hit. And then we're going to talk about Garnacho. All of last season, I and many of you said we need a striker up front that is Osimhen or Gyökeres or Ollie Watkins, experienced striker that goes over to Garnacho or Rashford or Anthony or Ahmad and says, pass the fucking ball. Pass me the fucking ball. Stop shooting from stupid angles. I think we did need that. And, you know, I think, is Sesko going to have that about him? I don't know. I haven't seen enough of him to know what his personality is. But we haven't got Garnacho and Anthony and Rashford anymore. So maybe the supply line will happen anyway. But if he was playing in the team last year, I'd worry about Sesko and say, is he wise? Is he going to get listened to? But we might have a very different team around our striker this year. So, look, it's a good point, and it's certainly something I wanted, but we'll have to just wait. Look, I'm not going to not get behind this signing because I think it's an exciting one just because he's 22. It might be a different Man United. It's the first pre-season for Amorim as well. Let me just talk to you about Garnacho. A little bit coming out about Garnacho tonight. Look, there are posts on Instagram of him playing FIFA and getting some new clothes. I mean, I don't know what people think young footballers do with their time. They're not out there doing charity work a lot of the time. They're sat playing FIFA. So what a surprise. Garnacho is sat playing FIFA. I mean, I really couldn't give a shit. The reality is, whether he's sat cooking, sat playing with his dog, sat on YouPorn, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is he's sat on his arse not playing football. And I find that incredible. I really, really do. You know, somebody said to me the other day, if Garnacho stays in the Premier League and he comes to Old Trafford next season for another club, he is going to get boos and pelters. And I thought, you know what? I hope not, but he probably will. How do you go from hero to zero with this fan base? Behaving like this. Like, I remember Ben Foster saying to me about 2 years ago, he said, I don't like Garnacho. There's just something about him. He's a little shit. And I thought, come off it. He's a bloody good player. Because I've always liked him. And he went, no, I just don't like him. I get a bad vibe off him. I don't like him. Well, who's right? Who's wrong? It doesn't matter. The reality is we're all getting a bad vibe off him at the moment. And this is just an example of what happens when you've got a young player with talent who has people around him who wipe his arse for him, who tell he's great. And there's just no maturity there. There's no appreciation of what he's got in front of him. I think it's embarrassing. I think it's embarrassing for Sancho. I think it's embarrassing for Garnacho. It is August on Friday and you don't have a club. You're not even in pre-season and you're sat there smiling like it's a normal thing. I pity the modern day football fan who doesn't remember the days of a Gary Neville or a Paul Scholes or a Ryan Giggs or a David Beckham or an Eric Cantona who from, you know, the 1st of July would be at Carrington sweating buckets, getting ready for a new season. You got Garnacho doing sod all, you know, waiting in the hope that he can get his move to Chelsea, who've already got about 4 new players better than him on pre-season, getting ready for the season, and he's waiting for his dream move to Chelsea, thinking he's Billy Big Bollocks, because I'm just going to wait it out and they'll have to sell me on the cheap. And I'm like, you know what? I hope you get your move to Chelsea. I hope you get your move to Chelsea. And I hope all the Chelsea fans that don't want you keep not wanting you. I hope you don't get in the team. I hope you realise all these people advising you haven't got your best interests at heart at all. Because somebody should be saying, get off your fucking arse. It's a World Cup. You've got immense talent. And you've wasted a month where you should be pre-season focused on football. And you're not. You're sat there waiting for your dream move to Chelsea. And why is it your dream move? Because it's the most high-profile move. It's got the Champions League. It's in London. It's the biggest club that are interested in you. Personally, and I don't know how many of you've done this when you've been playing FIFA and stuff like that, Villa would be the move I'd go to. Bigger fish in a smaller pond, playing every week, backing your ability. That's going to grab the attention of an Argentinian coach. Sat on the bench for Chelsea, not really wanted. I don't know about that. But look, he's not the only one doing it. I think it's sad. I think it's really sad that we have 2 or 3 players this summer who aren't part of pre-season. And well done to Amorim, by the way. These prats could have been out in the States with fans going, can you sign my shirt? And they'd have been bloody loving it. So fair play to Amrin for not giving this lot the steam off his piss. Because there are, you know, every time one of these players posts on Instagram, there are United fans in their replies going, oh, hopefully you can come back. Amrin doesn't know what he's missing. And I think, you know what? This is so good that Amrin hasn't taken them, because they'd be there with their pictures and everything like that, growing off the brand again. Amrin has shut them down, put them in the naughty corner, and, you know, he's actually exposed them for what they are. It's like what Luke Shaw said. You know, what did he call him? The hangers-on, the stragglers, whatever. It's true. They've been banned for a month and still haven't got a move. And who's been justified? Amrim's been proven right. These players are lazy. They're not focused on their football. They're focused on themselves. They can't even be asked to go and find a club for pre-season. They're just about themselves. So well done to Amrim. As for where Garnacho's going to end up, I don't know. I don't know. Look, I don't know, but I think he's destroyed what he had at Manchester United, and he doesn't really seem to give a shit. And the thing is, it's a little bit like Luke Shaw for me. I've always been a big fan of Luke Shaw, but it pissed me off what happened with the Euros final, and I think he could have handled that better. But I wouldn't compare Luke Shaw to Garnacho. But I don't know whether you're like this. When you back a player, especially when you do what we do, you know, there's clips of me doing it. When you back a player against people and you argue against people and you say he's got the best, highest ceiling in the squad, which I said numerous times, and that happens, you probably end up more angry with the player than the people that don't like him, because you feel really fucking let down. You feel stupid. You feel like you've been mugged off. And that's how I feel about Garnacho. I feel, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same. I just feel like I've been mugged off, because backed him, think he's a really good player, actually thought he actually gave a shit about Man United. And, you know, I know he's only 21, but yeah, it's destroyed. I mean, you know, I think about that goal against Everton. I think some of the good performances he put in, and it's just, this is the thing with modern football, though, isn't it? You know, and I'm not saying it didn't used to happen 30 years ago, but it happens a lot more now. Players are just happy to down tools. I mean, look at Gyökeres and Sporting. 2 years of absolute success to, I'm not going to train, I want out of here. No thought for the fans. I want out of here. That's modern football for you, isn't it? Garnacho refusing Napoli showed he's not serious, says Matthew. I still don't know where this is going, but hopefully something will happen, Mark, says Alan Noonan. I think he's talking about Gyökeres. Has Sesko said he wants us then, says Jamie? Well, a lot of people are saying that he has. Ornstein didn't say that, I don't think. I think Ornstein said that, or maybe he did. I don't remember. Look, in essence, he does want us, and we want him. That's the big thing. The reason we know he wants us is because Newcastle were willing to pay Leipzig what they want, him what he wants, and his agent what he wants. So Newcastle were basically saying, name your price, name your price, name your price. If I'm Sesko, and I've got a choice between Newcastle and Man United are saying to me, wait for us, and Newcastle are saying, play for us, then I haven't got a decision to make. It's either Newcastle or Man United. I don't need time to think. Like, Newcastle are ready for me, and Man United are saying, we want you, let's get working on a deal. I think that the delay on this will be us working on the deal. I mean, I think it's convenient that Romano has said Sesko needs a bit of time to think. I don't think he does. I think Man United need a bit of time to figure out how they're going to do the deal. So, look, we've hijacked the deal at the end of the day. We did this with Xerxes in Milan last year. We've acted after another club's moved in. It's not a bad idea. Chelsea have done it for years. Have you seen Gyökeres' stats of only scoring 2 goals against top 10 teams in the Portuguese league? I know it was good in the Champions League. It's worrying, says Lee. I think he'll do a really good job at Arsenal, but it's not our concern. If we sign Sesko and sell Rasmus, can you see us getting Vardy or Calvert-Lewin on a free? No, I don't want them, GJ. Does Rasmus deserve his chance in front of this new, hopefully unselfish midfield? Do we really need a new learner driver, says George. Best Belfast. Look, whatever you think of Rasmus, I would have liked him to stay, but we needed a striker when we got him in anyway, because Martial wasn't fit, and we needed a striker last year. So whether Rasmus gets a chance, whether he wants that chance, whether we still needed a striker. I would never have gone, don't get a striker. We needed a striker. We always needed a striker. We need 2 strikers. Instead of Rasmus, isn't Xerxes the surplus? Sell him, keep Rasmus, buy goalkeeper, buy midfielder, and maybe even get Bardi to teach the young lads, says Wazza. You're going to get in trouble, Wazza, because you've just said the words that nobody likes in this chat. You can't say sell Xerxes. No one will be happy about that. You know, is Xerxes a striker, though? Sean says, you know he's following Man United on Instagram. Yes. I'd take Sterling over Onana at the moment, says Barry. Also, I believe Ahmad will explode this season. He was one of the few shining spots of last season. I think Ahmad's got a really... be interesting where Ahmad plays against Bournemouth, actually, because I think Ahmad's got a really challenging season ahead in relation to where is he actually going to play. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what we do with Ahmad. And let me just say, for me, I think Ahmad has huge... It's going to be a big season for Ahmad. But let's also say this. He does need to stay fit. He is rather... I mean, I was looking at this today, actually. And let me just verify it for you. Here it is. Ahmad injury history. So, Ahmad's injury history is... So, what last season was 24-25, wasn't it? So... let me figure this out. So, in the 21-22 season, he missed 42 days with a thigh problem. In the 23-24 season, he missed 127 days with a knee injury. And in the 24-25 season, he missed 74 days with an ankle injury. So 3 out of the last 4 seasons, he's missed 3 months or more. So I think it's really important that Ahmad stays fit this season because basically the last 2 seasons he's missed 3 months of a season. So I think Ahmad's a very, very important player for us. I just hope he can stay fit this season because that's probably why Mount and Xerxes are here. And also, it's really important he stays fit because it's going to be Delo at right wing back if he doesn't. If we can afford Sesko, why don't we buy Watkins and Costa? I think it would be a better choice and develops our young, says Horatio. Can I just do some quick maths for you? Sesko's going for 69 million. Watkins and Costa would be 100. So that doesn't even work. Alan Noonan, thank you for your very generous super chat. I hope you're doing well. Appreciate you for that. And he's gifted 10 memberships as well. So make sure you say thank you to Alan. We briefly hit 31,000. Well, we broke records tonight, Pete. So thank you, everybody, for that. And we have got a watch along for you tonight, too. But thanks, everybody who's tuned in. 30,000 is incredible. The biggest and best football community in the world, not just Manchester United. Please do subscribe to the channel. We're very close to 130,000 as well. Bottom right-hand corner to do that. 8 o'clock shows are always fantastic on the United Stand. They've been brilliant for the last few weeks. Driven by you, as always. Let me just have a quick check if we've got anything new coming in, because it has been a busy few hours. Man United kick off in 5.5 hours. Seems a long time away, doesn't it? Sunday, it's a 10 o'clock at UK time kickoff. So this is the last sort of late or early in the morning one. Aston Villa have made an inquiry for Samu of Porto. I think Watkins goes to Newcastle. And I think that adds another twist. If I'm Newcastle and I can't get Sesko and I can't get Pedro and I can't keep Isak and I can't get Delap, I go Watkins. And then it becomes about, did we make the right choice even more? But if I'm Newcastle, I don't go Nicholas Jackson. I go Watkins, really. And I've seen Villa get linked to Openda, Jackson, and Samu today. So I think, look, we're not getting Watkins anymore, but they definitely want to sell him. They do. And popular opinion, Mbeumo at left wing back thought, says Philip. Nah. Got Dorgu, haven't we? Garnacho, Di Maria, Tevez, Rojo, Heinze, Veron. Argentina players have not had success at United, and only Veron didn't leave under a dark cloud. Tevez was good. He just left in bad circumstances. I liked Heinze. I thought he was quite limited, but I quite liked him. I wish Varane had been successful. Rojo gave all, but it wasn't that good. Di Maria just never wanted to be here. And Garnacho could have been something very special, but unfortunately hasn't grown up yet. What do you think about Endrick to United, says Fimble? Is he the one who's at Palmeiras? I mean, I do think there's a player there, but I think it's a bit too soon. I think he needs to stay out in Brazil a little bit longer. No, not Endrick. Endrick's at Real Madrid, isn't he? I'm thinking of... who am I thinking of at Palmeiras? He was at Barcelona. I think he's a player that could come back at some point. If we can afford Sesko on that one, Alan Noonan, thank you very much as well. Roque, that was it. Roque, that was it. Pete Phillips says, Phil, you need to seek medical help for your Mbeumo at left wing back. Banter. Oh, very, very quickly. I saw a story today about there being no likelihood of Mainoo leaving Manchester United. I don't know when we're going to announce this new contract, but we're going to announce this new contract. I mean, I don't want to be a spoiler, but that contract is nailed on. Like it's just when we want to do it. Like, do we want to do it for the third kit? Do we want to do it after we've got a striker? Do we want to do it in the September international break? I think it happens in the next 4 weeks. Mainoo's signing that contract. Like he's not going anywhere. He never was going anywhere. He will be signing a new contract at Manchester United. It's just a case of when. I suspect it will be in August. It might be for the third kit. I don't know when that's coming out. But yeah, that I think most of us would be very happy with Mainoo staying, and the next challenge is getting into the team, and I hope he can have a good game today. I really do. Any chance either Garnacho or Sancho or Anthony stay? Nothing seems to be moving. No, Shahin, absolutely no chance at all. Don't see that happening at all. Right, it's going to be a very, very... Actually... I forgot what I was going to say. Can't remember what I was going to say. TK says, no disrespect, but Mainoo is overrated. Yeah. Love Island crew are going, we're down to 29,000. Oh yeah, I'm not going to do an after show tonight because the after show will be basically a watch along at 2:30 a.m. We'll be live at about 1:30. So we're going to be back live again in 4 hours. 4 hours. So I'm going to go and do a quick sleep for about 3.5 hours, and then I think that will set me up. I'll still be tired, but I won't be as tired. So that's my plan. Get into bed now and have a few hours, and then get up at about 1 o'clock and get live. Everything's set up to go. The watch along is there. If you want to get in the live chat and carry on chatting away, you might want to watch a film or something and just have the live chatting amongst each other. Legendary show tonight. To hit 30k for the first time this summer on an 8 o'clock show is incredible. I mean, look, we do like 100k sometimes on watch alongs, so we are massive. We are Manchester United, the United stand. But yeah, I don't know how many staying up. How many are actually getting up to watch it? I mean, that's not everybody will. Some people will just go to bed and not watch it at all. Let's be honest. But looking forward to seeing you later on for the watch along. There will be a match reaction as well. If you're getting up tomorrow morning, you can maybe turn that on first. That'll be there for you for your breakfast. But I'm looking forward to it tonight. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. You know what? During the season, when it's been kicking off at 3 o'clock or 8 o'clock UK time, there are people all around the world getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So to have to do it once or twice a season is a piece of piss. And I look forward to it. So I will see you all then. Thank you very much. I'm going to go and get some sleep. Jason's going to stay up. I'm going to go and get some sleep. I'll see you a little bit later. Thanks for watching. Legends. Positive show. Let's go, Sesko. Speak to you all in a bit.